Marcus Johnson parked his old car on the street corner. The engine made a small noise as he turned it off. He looked around the dark neighborhood and checked his watch. It was almost time for the meeting. For 3 months, Marcus had pretended to be someone else. He was not just any man on the street. He was a CIA agent working undercover. His job was to get close to Ramirez, a dangerous man who sold illegal guns to bad people. Tonight was important. Tonight, he would finally meet Ramirez face to face. Marcus felt his phone buzz in his pocket. He took it out and read the message from his boss at the CIA. All set. Remember, no backup nearby. Stay alert. This meant Marcus was alone. No other agents were close by to help if things went wrong. He took a deep breath and put his phone away. The night air felt cool on his face as he stepped out of the car. The neighborhood was not a nice one. Broken streetlights, empty buildings with boards on the windows, and trash on the streets. This was where Ramirez liked to do business, away from nice areas where police often drove by. Marcus wore old clothes to blend in, worn jeans, a simple t-shirt, and a jacket that had seen better days. He had to look like he belonged here, like someone who might want to buy guns, not like a government agent. He started walking toward the meeting place, an old warehouse 2 blocks away. His heart beat a little faster. After months of work, he was close to completing his mission. If tonight went well, the CIA would have enough information to arrest Ramirez and stop his illegal gun sales. As Marcus turned a corner, he noticed a police car moving slowly down the street. This was not good. Police showing up now could ruin everything. Marcus kept his head down and continued walking, hoping the police would drive past. But the police car slowed down even more. Then its lights turned on, bright blue and red flashing in the dark street. The car pulled up beside Marcus. Just stay calm, Marcus told himself. Act normal. 2 police officers stepped out of the car. One was tall with broad shoulders. The other was shorter with a serious face. Both had their hands near their guns. Hands where we can see them, the tall officer called out. Marcus slowly raised his hands into the air. His mind was racing. This was bad timing. Very bad. He could not tell these officers he was CIA. That would ruin his cover if anyone was watching. But if they arrested him, he would miss the meeting with Ramirez. Officer, is there a problem? Marcus asked in a calm voice, even though he felt tense inside. We've had reports of drug deals in this area, the shorter officer said, walking closer to Marcus. You match the description of someone we're looking for. Marcus knew he had to be careful with his next words. If he said the wrong thing, he might end up in a police car heading to the station. If that happened, Ramirez would disappear, and months of undercover work would be wasted. I'm just walking to meet a friend, Marcus said, keeping his voice steady. ID. Now, the tall officer demanded. This was a problem. Marcus had 2 IDs with him. One was fake, matching his cover story. The other was his real CIA ID, hidden in a secret pocket. Showing either one could cause trouble. If he showed his fake ID and they checked it carefully, they might find problems with it. If he revealed his real CIA ID, his cover would be blown. Either way, Ramirez would get away. As Marcus stood there with his hands up, he noticed people watching from nearby apartment windows. Some had phones out, recording the scene. This was getting worse by the minute. Sir, I'm asking you to place your hands behind your back, the taller officer said. He took out his handcuffs. The metal caught the light from the street lamps. Marcus felt his chance to catch Ramirez slipping away. 3 months of hard work might be ruined in the next few minutes. He needed to think fast. Officers, I think there's been a misunderstanding, Marcus said. He tried to sound friendly and calm. The shorter officer moved closer. Turn around slowly. As the officer reached for Marcus's arm, something caught Marcus's eye. A black SUV turned the corner and moved slowly down the street. Marcus knew that car. It belonged to Ramirez's men. If they saw him with police, they would know something was wrong. His cover would be blown. Worse, they might try to kill him on the spot. The tall officer began to put the handcuffs on Marcus's wrist. The cold metal touched his skin. Marcus felt trapped between two dangers. If he resisted arrest, he would be in more trouble. If he went with the police, Ramirez would get away. And if Ramirez's men saw him being arrested, his life would be in danger. Just then, another car turned the corner fast. It was a silver sedan with tinted windows. It stopped right next to the police car. The door opened, and a woman stepped out. She wore a neat black suit and had her hair pulled back. She walked with confidence toward the officers. Special Agent Sarah Chen, FBI, she announced in a strong voice. She held up a badge that caught the light. "This man is working with us on a special case. I need you to let him go right now." The two police officers looked surprised. They glanced at each other with confused faces. The taller one frowned. "We weren't told about any FBI work in our area." Agent Chen reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out a folded paper. "This operation covers many areas. Your police captain knows about it, but only a few people were told. This is very secret work." The officers looked at the paper. Marcus stood still, trying to keep his face calm. He was just as surprised as the police officers. He didn't know any FBI agents were involved in his mission. The CIA hadn't told him about working with the FBI. Was this woman really FBI, or was something else happening? People were still watching from the windows. Some had come out onto the street to see what was happening. The black SUV had slowed down even more. Marcus could see the dark shapes of men inside, watching everything. The first officer handed the paper back to Agent Chen. "This seems real," he said. He took the handcuffs off Marcus's wrist. "Sorry for the trouble." "Thank you, officers," Agent Chen said. She looked at Marcus. "Let's go. We have work to do." Marcus followed her to her car, walking calmly even though his mind was racing with questions. Who was this woman? Why was the FBI involved? Was this a trap? As they got into the car, Agent Chen started the engine. The police officers went back to their car. The black SUV began to move again, going past them slowly. Marcus saw one of the men inside making a phone call. Once the car doors were closed, Agent Chen turned to Marcus. Her face changed from professional to serious and worried. "Marcus Johnson, CIA. Your cover is blown," she said quietly. "We found out that Ramirez knows someone is undercover. He plans to test everyone tonight, including you." Marcus stared at her. "How do you know who I really am?" "We're working together on this case now. Your agency didn't tell you because they thought there might be someone giving away secrets," she said. She started driving away from the area. "Those men in the black SUV weren't going to your meeting. They were coming to kill you." Marcus looked back through the window. The black SUV had turned around and was now going the other way. Fast. If he had stayed for the meeting, he would have walked into a trap. "There's more," Agent Chen said as she drove quickly through the dark streets. "We think someone who works with you might be helping Ramirez. That's why I came instead of your regular team." Marcus tried to process this information. Everything he thought he knew about his mission now seemed wrong. Who could he trust? His boss at the CIA? His team members? This FBI agent who showed up out of nowhere? "How do I know I can trust you?" Marcus asked. He watched her face carefully. Agent Chen reached into her jacket again and pulled out a small device. She pressed a button, and a voice started playing. It was Marcus's voice from a meeting last week, talking to his CIA boss about the plan to meet Ramirez. "We recorded this from Ramirez's phone," she explained. "Someone gave him this recording. Someone who knows about your real mission." Marcus felt cold. Someone had recorded his private conversation and given it to Ramirez. Someone wanted him dead. Those police officers weren't just in the area by chance. Agent Chen continued. Someone sent them to that spot at that exact time. Someone wanted to stop you from meeting Ramirez, but not to protect you. To protect Ramirez. The car turned onto a main road. There were more lights here, more people. Marcus felt a little safer, but his mind was still racing. "Where are we going?" he asked. "Somewhere safe," Agent Chen answered. "We need to talk about what happens next." She handed him a file from the backseat. "This is what we know so far." Marcus opened the file. Inside were pictures of people he knew. His CIA boss, 2 other agents on his team, even one of the police officers who had just tried to arrest him. Next to each picture was information about bank accounts with large amounts of money going in. "All these people?" Marcus asked, shocked. "We don't know for sure yet," Agent Chen said, "but the money trail suggests they're involved somehow." Marcus looked out the window as they drove through the city. The bright lights of stores and restaurants seemed normal. People walked on the sidewalks, laughing and talking, but his world had just been turned upside down. "So what now?" he asked. "Now we use what happened tonight to our advantage," Agent Chen said. She turned onto a quiet street lined with trees. "Ramirez thinks you're arrested or dead. The corrupt people think they've won. That gives us a chance to catch them all." She pulled into a parking garage and drove to the lowest level. There, another car was waiting with 2 men standing beside it. "My team," Agent Chen explained. "We're going to take you to a safe house. Then we'll make a new plan." Marcus looked at the men, then back at Agent Chen. "I still don't know if I can trust you." Agent Chen turned off the car engine. "Marcus, right now, you can't trust anyone from your team. But you need someone on your side. Let us help you, and together we can stop Ramirez and find out who betrayed you." Marcus thought for a moment. She was right. He needed help, and she had saved him from being arrested. "Okay," he said finally. "Let's go." They got out of the car and walked to the waiting vehicle. The 2 men nodded at Agent Chen, but said nothing. As they drove out of the garage and into the night, Marcus wondered what would happen next. The safe house was a small apartment in a quiet part of the city. Nothing fancy. Just a living room, kitchen, 1 bedroom, and a bathroom. The windows had thick curtains that blocked the view from outside. Agent Chen's team did a quick check of the place. Marcus sat on the couch, still holding the file she had given him. He couldn't stop thinking about the people in the pictures. People he had worked with. People he had trusted. "All clear," one of the men said after checking the apartment. Agent Chen nodded. "Thank you. Wait outside, please." The 2 men left, closing the door behind them. Agent Chen sat down across from Marcus. "I know this is a lot to take in," she said. "Finding out people you trusted might be working against you." Marcus closed the file. "Tell me everything. From the beginning." Agent Chen took a deep breath. "About 6 months ago, we noticed something strange. Operations against Ramirez kept failing. He always seemed to know when we were coming. At first, we thought it was bad luck or good security on his part." She got up and went to the kitchen. She came back with 2 glasses of water and handed one to Marcus. Then money started showing up in accounts connected to certain agents. Too much money to ignore. That's when we realized someone was helping Ramirez. Marcus took a sip of water. "And you think it's someone on my team?" "We know it is," Agent Chen said. "What we don't know is who or how many people are involved." She took out her phone and showed Marcus a picture. It was a meeting in a restaurant. His CIA boss was sitting at a table with a man Marcus recognized as one of Ramirez's top men. "This was taken 2 weeks ago," Agent Chen explained. "Your boss meeting with the enemy." Marcus felt sick. His boss had sent him undercover. Had given him this assignment. Had he been setting Marcus up to die all along? "There's something else you should know," Agent Chen said. She looked serious. "The real operation is bigger than just catching Ramirez. We want to catch everyone involved. All the corrupt agents and officers. That's why we let you continue your undercover work, even after we suspected there was a leak." Marcus stood up, angry now. "You used me as bait. You let me walk into danger knowing someone might be setting me up. Agent Chen didn't look away. Yes, we needed to see who would make a move. We've been watching you, protecting you from a distance. Tonight proved we were right. Someone tried to get you arrested to stop you from meeting Ramirez. Marcus paced around the small living room. And what if your protection hadn't worked? What if those officers had taken me in, or if Ramirez's men had found me first? It was a calculated risk, Agent Chen admitted. But now we have proof, and we can use what happened tonight to catch everyone involved. Marcus stopped pacing. How? Agent Chen smiled for the first time. Because now everyone thinks you're out of the picture. The police officers will report back to whoever sent them. They'll say an FBI agent took you away. Ramirez's men will tell him the same thing. She stood up and walked to a small desk in the corner of the room. She opened a laptop that was sitting there. Now we let them think they've won, she continued. We let them get comfortable. And then we set a trap. The next morning, Marcus woke up early. He had slept on the couch, not in the bedroom. Old habits from his undercover work made him choose the spot closest to the door. Agent Chen was already awake, working on the laptop. 2 more agents had arrived during the night. They were in the kitchen, talking quietly and drinking coffee. Any news? Marcus asked as he sat up. Agent Chen looked up from the computer. Yes, quite a bit. Your boss reported you missing this morning. Said you didn't check in after your meeting with Ramirez. Marcus raised an eyebrow. He knows I never made it to that meeting. Exactly, Agent Chen said, which tells us he's definitely involved. He's pretending everything went according to the original plan. One of the agents from the kitchen brought Marcus a cup of coffee. We also intercepted some messages from Ramirez's people. They're confused. They were told to go to the meeting spot and take care of a problem. But when they got there, no one was there. Marcus took the coffee. Because I was already with you. Agent Chen nodded. Right. And now Ramirez is angry. He thinks someone warned you not to come. She turned the laptop so Marcus could see the screen. It showed a text message. Someone tipped him off. Find out who. This works in our favor, Agent Chen explained. Now Ramirez will be looking for a leak in his own organization. He'll be distracted. Marcus took a sip of his coffee. It was strong and hot, just what he needed. So what's our next move? Agent Chen closed the laptop. We're going to give your boss exactly what he wants. And what's that? Marcus asked. Proof that you're dead, Agent Chen said simply. The room went quiet. The other agents stopped talking in the kitchen. I don't understand, Marcus said. Agent Chen stood up and went to a bag in the corner. She pulled out a camera. We're going to stage some photos. Make it look like Ramirez's men caught up with you after all. We'll make sure your boss gets these photos. And then what? Marcus asked. Then we watch what he does, one of the other agents said, coming into the living room. If he's working with Ramirez, he'll contact him. He'll want to confirm you're really dead. And we'll be listening, Agent Chen added. We've already got taps on his phones. Marcus thought about this plan. It was clever, but also dangerous. What if he doesn't make contact? What if he just accepts the photos as real? Agent Chen smiled again. It was a determined smile. Then we moved to Plan B. You make contact with Ramirez directly. Marcus set his coffee down. Me? But they think I'm dead. Exactly, Agent Chen said. You show up alive, claiming you escaped. You tell Ramirez someone in his organization tried to set you up. You say you want to make a deal directly with him. That's risky, Marcus said. Yes, Agent Chen agreed. But it might be our best chance to catch both Ramirez and the corrupt agents in one move. Marcus stood up and walked to the window. He moved the curtain just a tiny bit to look outside. The street was quiet. Normal. People going to work. Kids going to school. None of them knew about the dangerous game being played in the small apartment. Okay, he said finally, turning back to the room. Let's do it. Let's make them think I'm dead. Agent Chen nodded and started giving orders to the other agents. They began setting up equipment for the fake photos. Marcus watched them work. Yesterday, he thought he was just trying to catch one bad guy. Now he was in the middle of something much bigger, a plan to catch not just criminals, but also the people who were supposed to be stopping criminals. It was going to be the most dangerous mission of his life. The fake death photos looked real. Too real. Marcus stared at them on the laptop screen. In the pictures, he lay on the ground, his shirt covered with what looked like blood. His eyes were open but empty. Agent Chen's team had done good work with makeup and fake blood. Will they believe these? Marcus asked. Agent Chen nodded. Yes, we added details only Ramirez would know about, like the special way his men leave their victims. One of the other agents closed the laptop. We've sent them to your boss. Now we wait. The waiting was the hard part. Marcus paced around the small apartment. Every hour felt like a day. Agent Chen's team had set up equipment to listen to all calls going to or from his CIA boss. They waited for him to make contact with Ramirez. What if he doesn't call anyone? Marcus asked after several hours had passed. He will, Agent Chen said. She seemed very sure. He needs to confirm you're really dead. He needs to know his secret is still safe. Just as she finished speaking, one of the agents monitoring the calls raised his hand. We have something. Everyone gathered around his equipment. The agent put on a headset and adjusted some settings. Then he nodded and turned on the speaker so everyone could hear. It's done, a voice said. It was Marcus's boss. The problem has been taken care of. You're sure? Another voice asked. This one had a slight accent. Marcus recognized it immediately. Ramirez. I just got the photos. His boss replied. Your men did a good job. Clean. No loose ends. Good, Ramirez said. The shipment will arrive next week as planned. I'll need the usual protection. You'll have it, Marcus's boss promised. I've already arranged for the right officers to be on duty that night. The call ended. The room was silent for a moment. Then one of the agents said, We got him. We got them both. But Agent Chen shook her head. Not yet. We heard them planning a crime, but we need more. We need to catch them in the act. She turned to Marcus. This shipment they mentioned, do you know what it is? Marcus thought about the information he had gathered during his months undercover. Ramirez has been trying to bring in a large weapon shipment. Military-grade guns, much bigger than his usual deals. And now your boss is helping provide police protection for it, Agent Chen said. This is our chance to catch everyone involved. She went to the laptop and opened it again. We need to find out exactly when and where this shipment is coming in. One of the other agents spoke up. We could track Ramirez's movements, or we could try to access the patrol schedules for the police department, see which officers have been assigned special duty next week. Agent Chen nodded. Both good ideas. Let's do both. She looked at Marcus. We also need to prepare you. Prepare me for what? Marcus asked. In case we need to use Plan B after all, she said. If something goes wrong, we might need you to approach Ramirez directly. Marcus nodded slowly. It was a dangerous idea, but it might be necessary. I'll be ready. For the next few hours, the team worked on gathering information. They tracked phone calls, checked police schedules, and monitored known associates of Ramirez. Slowly, a picture began to form. The shipment is coming in through the old harbor, Agent Chen announced. Next Tuesday night, and look who's scheduled to patrol that area. She showed Marcus the police schedule. The same 2 officers who had tried to arrest him were listed for harbor patrol that night. It's all connected, Marcus said quietly. Everyone's involved. Agent Chen put a hand on his shoulder. Not everyone. Just enough to make this work. But now we know who they are. And we're going to stop them. The plan was set. They had 5 days before the shipment arrived. 5 days to prepare the perfect trap. Agent Chen's team grew larger. More FBI agents joined them at a new, bigger safe house. They brought maps, equipment, and weapons. This was becoming a major operation. Marcus helped them understand Ramirez's methods. He shared everything he had learned while undercover, where Ramirez's men would be positioned, how they would move the weapons, which routes they would take. There will be at least 20 of Ramirez's men there, Marcus explained as they looked at a map of the harbor. They'll be heavily armed, and we now know there will be corrupt police officers providing cover. Agent Chen nodded. We'll have 30 agents in position, plus support from honest police officers once the operation begins. On the third day, they intercepted another call between Marcus's boss and Ramirez. They were making final arrangements for the shipment. The call confirmed their plan was working. No one suspected that Marcus was still alive or that the FBI knew about the shipment. We need to be careful about the timing, Agent Chen told the team during a briefing. We want to catch them with the weapons. We need solid evidence. If we move too early, they could claim they were just meeting. If we move too late, they could get away with the weapons. One of the agents raised a question. What about Marcus? Where will he be during the operation? All eyes turned to Marcus. Agent Chen answered. That's up to him. He's done his part. He can stay here, safe, while we make the arrests. Marcus shook his head. No, I need to be there. I started this mission. I want to finish it. Agent Chen looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay, but you'll stay with me. In the command vehicle, away from the action. Marcus didn't argue, but in his mind, he wasn't sure he could just watch from a distance. The night before the operation, Marcus couldn't sleep. He sat by the window of the safe house, looking out at the city lights. Tomorrow, it would all be over. Ramirez would be arrested. The corrupt agents and police officers would be exposed. His mission would be complete. But at what cost? His trust had been broken. His boss, someone he had respected, had betrayed him, had been willing to have him killed to protect a criminal. The thought made him angry. Agent Chen found him there, still sitting by the window when morning came. Did you sleep at all? She asked. No, Marcus admitted. Too much on my mind. She sat down across from him, having second thoughts. Marcus shook his head. No, just thinking about how people can surprise you, how someone you trust can turn out to be your enemy. Agent Chen nodded. It happens in our line of work. More than we'd like to admit. The money Ramirez offers is tempting to some people. Not to you, Marcus asked. No, she said simply. Some things are more important than money. Marcus smiled slightly, like justice. Like being able to look at yourself in the mirror each morning, she replied. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Agent Chen stood up. Get some rest today. Tonight's going to be a long night. Marcus nodded. I'll try. As she walked away, Marcus called after her. Thank you for saving my life that night, for trusting me. Agent Chen turned back. We're not done yet. Thank me when Ramirez is behind bars. The night of the operation arrived. Dark clouds covered the moon and stars. A light rain fell on the harbor. It was the perfect weather for their plan. The rain and darkness would make it harder for Ramirez's lookouts to spot the FBI agents moving into position. Marcus sat in the back of a black van with Agent Chen and 2 other agents. Screens showed video feeds from agents hidden around the harbor. Radio chatter filled the van as teams reported their positions. All teams in position, one of the agents in the van announced. Harbor is secured. No one gets in or out without us knowing. Agent Chen nodded. She looked tense but focused. Now we wait. The waiting was difficult. Minutes stretched into hours. The rain continued to fall. On the screens, they could see the empty harbor, wet concrete, dark water, empty warehouses. Then movement. A police car drove slowly along the harbor edge. That's them, Marcus said. The corrupt officers. The car stopped near one of the warehouses. The 2 officers from that night stepped out. They looked around, then walked to the warehouse door. They're checking to make sure the area is clear, Marcus explained. More movement on another screen. 3 black SUVs approached from the south entrance of the harbor. Ramirez, Marcus said, leaning forward. That's his usual convoy. Agent Chen picked up her radio. All teams, stand by. Targets approaching. Wait for my signal. The SUVs parked near the warehouse. Men got out, carrying guns. They spread out, taking positions around the area. They're setting up security, Marcus said. The shipment must be close. On another screen, they saw a small boat approaching the harbor. It moved slowly, its lights off. There it is, Agent Chen said. The weapons. The boat docked at a small pier near the warehouse. Men began unloading large crates from it. The police officers helped direct the operation, pointing to where the crates should go. Then a final car arrived. A sleek, expensive car. A man got out. Even on the grainy video feed, Marcus recognized him. Ramirez. And next to him, stepping out of the same car, was Marcus's CIA boss. There they are, Agent Chen said. Both of them. Together. She raised the radio again. All teams, prepare to move on my mark. Marcus watched the screens intently. Ramirez and his boss walked toward the warehouse. Men carried crates past them. Everyone seemed focused on the shipment. It was the perfect moment to strike. But something felt wrong to Marcus. He studied the screens, looking at the positions of Ramirez's men. Wait, he said suddenly. Something's not right. Agent Chen looked at him. What is it? There are too few men, Marcus said. Ramirez always has more security than this. He pointed to the screens. And where are the men who were in the third SUV? They got out, but they're not visible anywhere. Agent Chen frowned. She looked at the screens more carefully. You're right. We're missing at least 6 men. She grabbed her radio. All teams, be advised. We may have hostile targets unaccounted for. Proceed with caution. But it was too late. On one of the screens, they saw an FBI agent being grabbed from behind. On another screen, 2 more agents were suddenly surrounded by armed men. It's a trap, Marcus realized. They knew we were coming. Abort, Agent Chen ordered into her radio. All teams pull back. I repeat, pull back. But the radio only returned static. No responses came from the teams. They're jamming our communications, one of the agents in the van said. On the screens, they could see FBI agents being captured or taking cover as Ramirez's men opened fire. It was chaos. The perfect trap had turned against them. How did they know? Agent Chen asked, her voice tense. How did they know we were coming? Marcus stared at the screens. Then he saw something that made his blood run cold. Another car had arrived at the scene. A woman got out. She looked directly at one of the hidden cameras and smiled. Her, Marcus said, pointing at the screen. I know her. She works at the FBI office. I saw her picture in one of your files. Agent Chen looked shocked. Agent Taylor, she's part of our support team. She helped plan this operation. She's the leak, Marcus said. That's how they knew. The van suddenly felt very vulnerable. If Agent Taylor had betrayed them, she knew where the command van was parked. We need to move, Marcus said urgently. Now. Just as he spoke, they heard footsteps on the roof of the van. Someone was on top of their vehicle. Go, Agent Chen shouted to the driver. Get us out of here. The driver started the engine, but before he could put the van in gear, the back doors burst open. Armed men stood there, pointing guns at them. Out, one of them ordered. All of you. They had no choice. They stepped out of the van into the rain. 6 armed men surrounded them. One of them spoke into a radio. We have them, he said, including Johnson. A car drove up. Ramirez stepped out, followed by Marcus's former boss. They walked slowly toward the captured group. Agent Chen, Ramirez said with a smile. Thank you for bringing all your agents into my trap. He turned to Marcus. And Marcus Johnson. Not dead after all. I'm impressed. Marcus's former boss looked shocked to see him alive. How? The photos. Fake, Marcus said coldly. Just like your loyalty. Ramirez laughed. Your plan was good, but mine was better. Did you really think you could catch me so easily? Agent Chen stood tall despite the rain soaking her clothes. This isn't over, Ramirez. I think it is, Ramirez replied. My men have captured your agents. The weapons are being moved as we speak, and you'll all be dead soon. No witnesses. It seemed hopeless. They were outnumbered, surrounded, in the middle of a failed operation. But Marcus noticed something. A small red dot that appeared on Ramirez's chest, then another on one of his men. Laser sights, from somewhere in the darkness. Marcus caught Agent Chen's eye. She had seen them too. She gave him the smallest nod. You missed something, Ramirez, Marcus said, trying to keep his voice steady. Something important. Ramirez raised an eyebrow. And what's that? We had a backup plan, Marcus said. At that moment, shots rang out from multiple directions. Ramirez's men fell one by one, hit by unseen snipers. Ramirez himself dropped to the ground, holding his leg where a bullet had struck him. More agents appeared from the darkness, wearing tactical gear. They quickly took control of the situation, disarming the remaining men. Agent Chen smiled at Marcus's confused face. Did you think I would plan an operation this important without a secondary team? A team that even Agent Taylor didn't know about. Marcus laughed with relief. You never told me about them. Need to know basis, Agent Chen replied with a small smile. And until just now, you didn't need to know. As they stood in the rain, watching Ramirez and Marcus's former boss being handcuffed and led away, Marcus felt a weight lift from his shoulders. The mission was over. The betrayal had been painful, but justice had been served. What happens now? Marcus asked as medics arrived to check on the injured. Agent Chen looked at him. Now, we clean up this mess, arrest the corrupt officers, track down the rest of Ramirez's organization. There's still work to do. She paused, then added, and you need to decide what you want to do next. The CIA will want you back, I'm sure, but the FBI could use someone like you. Marcus looked out at the harbor, at the rain washing away the night's events. I think I need some time first to process everything. Agent Chen nodded. Take all the time you need. You've earned it. As they walked toward the waiting cars, Marcus thought about the strange twist his life had taken. A simple undercover mission had exposed corruption in his own agency. A routine police stop had led to the biggest case of his career. And through it all, he had discovered who he could really trust. The unexpected twist that shocked everyone wasn't just that he was a CIA agent. It was that the line between friend and enemy wasn't always clear. And sometimes, the most important people in your life are the ones who show up just when everything seems lost.